should have got my pots out before I started this. Cause now I got to move stuff. Crap. Okay, hold on.
Did you start?
Yep.
Can I say how?
No,
Why not?
I don't want nipples on my video.
What if I do this?
No.
Why not? No nipples.
No.
Give me a hug.
Don't you touch me.
Come over here.
No, you. Ugh. No. I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna start first. Hello, hello. I am starting meal prep. Right now I'm getting ready to make some ribeye steaks. Put some ribeyes in here, some butter and some garlic down there. And I have been marinating the ribeyes in some herbs and vinegars and stuff. So they've been marinating. And I'm just going to put those down. Thank you. If you guys have any questions as I go, please let me know. Wash my hands. And I'm going to fry my chicken as well. I'm going to do my chicken fajitas first. I can make my fajita seasoning. So I'm gonna make some fajita seasoning. So with the fajita seasoning, it is, let me see what's in the fajita seasoning. 2 teaspoons of chili powder. Teaspoons of chili powder. That's 1. That's 2. And then 1 teaspoon of salt. Gotta put the top back on so I'll know what they are. 1 teaspoon of salt, which I put everything down here that I needed. Okay, here we go. I'm not gonna put 1 full teaspoon of salt because this is pink Himalayan salt, and it's a little bit saltier than the other stuff. So 1 teaspoon of salt, and then 1 teaspoon of paprika. That's my 1 teaspoon of paprika, and then I need, it says 1 teaspoon of white sugar. I'm not going to use white sugar. I'm going to use a stevia pack. I don't want to use white sugar. And then it calls for a half teaspoon of onion powder, garlic powder, and cumin. A half teaspoon of onion powder, I could have done this earlier. I can get this in. Okay, so a half teaspoon. There we go. That's the onion powder. Then the garlic powder. I'm going to shake this up. Just like this. So, got the garlic powder. And then the cumin. These are half teaspoon. Pop that one in the incorporate. So let me open the top. Where's this one? That's my half teaspoon of cumin. And then it calls for a 4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I don't have that, so I'm going to just use a little bit of red pepper flakes in there, but I don't have this one. And I need to get my chicken on. So I'm going to use a tablespoon of oil for this chicken. It's already ready to go. And that's 20 ounces of chicken. And it's time to turn my steak over. Hey, Miss Yolanda. Hey, Miss Cynthia. So I'm turning my steaks over. And that's what one side looks like. I'm just going to turn it over. And while that is turned over, I'm gonna add some mint to that. While that is cooking, I'm gonna add a little bit of salt to this because I didn't salt it before. And this is my chicken fajita over here. And so with this, I'm going to add in some pepper. So I'm going to add some frozen onions and peppers to my fajitas. I'm going to do about 2.5 cups there, and the rest of this peppers I'm going to use for a different dish later. So I'm going to cook this together, and I have my fajita seasoning that I'm going to add when it gets a little bit more done. Hey, Miss Shirley. So this week my menu consists of ribeye steak, chicken fajitas, chicken parmesan without the noodles. It's more like the chicken parmesan sauce that I'm going to have, and then we'll have a creamy spinach chicken dish that I'm going to end with. So those are my 4 meals that I have. And my steak, I don't get those. They're probably going to be like medium when I take these off. And I do that because I'm going to heat them up when I eat them. And I don't want them to be overdone. So right now it's more about getting crust on them. And I just made this fajita seasoning. I don't know if you can see that. The lighting's kind of bad in here, so I apologize. But this is the fajita seasoning that I made. And instead of buying the packaged one, actually I think I do have a packaged one in here. Let me compare if I can find it. Yeah, so this is the fajita seasoning that you can buy. And this one has maltodextrin, salt, spices, modified cornstarch, sugar, caramel flavor, dried red pepper, citric acid, garlic powder, yeast extract, natural flavor, and natural smoke flavor. And this one that I have right here, this one has paprika, onion powder, garlic powder, onion powder, cumin, and red pepper flakes, a little bit of stevia for sugar, and some pink Himalayan salt. So this one just has less chemicals and stuff in it that I just made. And my steaks are about to come off. So again, I'm just getting the outside pretty done there. Yep. So I'm gonna cook this one side a little bit more because it didn't get done, didn't get brown enough for me. And then this is my chicken fajita that I'm cooking in here. This is just some chicken breast, 20 ounces of chicken breast with 2.5 cups frozen peppers and onions. And I'm cooking this. And I'm actually going to put this in a wrap. This is not a keto meal. This is going to be more of a low carb meal because I'm using a wrap. And the wrap that I'm using is called Joseph's. I think it's Joseph's bread. I'll show it to you before I'm done with all this stuff. So I'm just getting that browned up and cooked and everything. Okay, got my steak where I want it there. Check this one. Oh yeah, that's good, that's good. So I'm gonna just let the steak rest. Take that off the heat. And I'm going to put it over here and just let this rest before I do anything else with that. I'm going to take this skillet and put it out of my way. Oh, going to move stuff around back here in the background. Alright, I can turn my vent off now. Alright, so now that I have this ready, I can use this back eye for my chicken parmesan. I'm going to put that back there. That's going to be ground chicken. That's what I'm using with that one. That's more of a, it's ground chicken, some pasta sauce. I put some cauliflower rice in there, just for some little texture. And I'm actually going to put a little bit of red pepper, a bell pepper and onions in it as well. And that's just for flavor and stuff. So that's going to be what I call my chicken parmesan. And this is getting done. And while that's heating up, I'm going to go ahead and put my peppers in there, as well as my cauliflower. Now with the cauliflower, the cauliflower is for texture, and just to get some hidden vegetables in here for me. So I'm going to do, let me see, I did 2 cups of cauliflower in that one. And then I'll use the rest of this in my other dish. I'm done with the peppers. And now I'm going to put the seasoning that I made for my chicken fajitas. So this is the seasoning that I just put together and made instead of using the packaged one. I'm glad I got that seasoning out before I dropped that bowl, because I don't want to make that seasoning again. So now I'm just going to just mix this all up and make sure all the seasoning gets on everything. With my meals, my goal always is to eat healthy, but don't skimp on flavor. So that's my biggest thing. I want to eat healthy, but I want my stuff to taste good. So I try to have meals that taste good, as well as have meals with bold flavors is what I'm trying to say. I try to have bold flavors with my meals. So with my chicken fajitas, what I'm going to do with my chicken fajitas, I'm going to pair this with some sour cream and a little cheese and a wrap. So that's what I'm going to use this for. Cauliflower rice, I don't know what I would compare cauliflower rice to. It's kind of like a potato to me, because you can pair it with anything and it'll take on the flavor of whatever you pair it to. That's kind of what I feel like cauliflower rice is. It's kind of like a potato, where you just kind of pair it with stuff. So with this cauliflower rice, because it's going to be in a pasta sauce as well as some ground chicken, it's really more about getting the nutrients from it than getting any taste from it. It doesn't have enough taste. It doesn't have enough taste to really stand on its own unless you're going to put something with it. Like, I would not eat just some boiled cauliflower. You have to put something with it. Where do I get my meal ideas from? I do a lot of searching on the internet, stuff like low carb chicken or keto beef or stuff like that. There's a website. There are tons of websites out there that's just focused on low carb stuff. So I usually use those sites to get ideas from to cook. Does it cook like normal rice? Yeah. I've stir fried it before. It's softer. It won't have that same texture. It's going to be softer than your normal rice. So it's different in that aspect. And so I'm going to, this is some ground chicken that I'm going to put over in that. And so I need to get me another spoon. It's just the ground chicken that I'm putting, and I'm going to brown this chicken, and it has these vegetables and stuff. So this is just a way for me to eat vegetables without focusing like on the actual vegetable. Like I don't have to worry about like a side dish. This is everything in one. So that's why I view it like this, because I get everything I need, get my vegetables and everything in this one thing. So I'm going to let that cook over there. Man, I'm messing up today. Let me wash off my other spoon that I just dropped. This is the chicken fajita. I'm letting it cook just a little while longer just to get the seasoning and everything on that. Watching this. Let me see. Oh, no problem. It's fun. It's fun. So you can't really see over here on the counter. Let me see if I can just take this. I'm trying to get the lighting right so you can see it. You see all those whites, those bowls and stuff over there? That's where I'm putting all of my meals as I finish them. They're all going over there. So that's what that's about. So I'm going to be over there putting the meals and stuff together. So with my chicken fajita, what I do to make sure that I get enough in each thing is I measure. I use measuring spoons to dip everything out. So, hold on. It's gotten dark on me. Okay, so I use like measuring spoons to make sure that I have the right amount and everything. So, I'm going to go over here to my bowls that I have, and I know I cooked 4 servings worth. So I'm going to, it's basically going to be a half a cup in each one. So this is my, again, this is the chicken fajita. And it came out to exactly 4 servings. So I got a little bit of pepper that I didn't get in there. I'm just going to spread that around, spread some love. And then the seasoning is in the, it's in here, so I'm gonna pour the rest of the seasoning over to all of that. So that's done. So that's 2 meals done so far in the time that we've been on video. And I'm getting ready to start my next one, which is my, let me see. The chicken spinach is what I'm going to start next. This time with the chicken spinach, I'm going to add some cauliflower to it again, just for some additional vegetable. All I'm doing is adding that for additional vegetable. This is one of my favorite meals that I have. There's some tea right here. Making me some tea. That's good. All right. So I still got my ground chicken that's over here with the peppers and the cauliflower. And I'm just browning that to get that done. Let my other skillet get a little hot so that I can finish with this. Then I'm gonna season this with some salt, garlic, and onion powder. I'm actually gonna put some garlic. Hey Pam, I'm gonna put some garlic in this one. So I'm just gonna put some salt in there and some onion powder. But then I'm some garlic inside. And this is just some minced garlic there. And this is more of more an Italian dish. So I also have some Italian seasonings that I'm going to put in here as well. I have some basil and oregano that I'm going to put in here. Are you following the keto meal plan? I've heard a lot about it, but not really. Yes, I was following the keto meal plan. Most of my meals are keto. Most of mine are keto, not all of them. Some of my meals are what they call primal. And there's not a lot different between all of them. But if you ask the hardcore people, there are some differences. But my basic thing is I am protein heavy. And I do not shy away from fats. So with my fats, I get my fats from my meats and dairy. Keto, keto is heavy fat. I would say I'm probably moderate fat, is why I won't say that I'm keto, to keep everybody from coming at me for not meeting the macros. But keto is a really good option for anyone who has blood sugar issues, anything like that. Keto is really good for because it helps your body regulate insulin. So I have done keto. I really like keto. I lost a lot of weight with keto. So it's a really, really good thing. I have some amazing friends who are doing keto and their results are outstanding. I mean, really, really good. So I highly recommend keto for people, but I do recommend that you talk to your doctor about keto. When you research it, you will find pros and cons with keto. I almost forgot about my other meal I'm making. You'll find pros and cons about keto, and you have to make up your own mind about it. Don't let the data sway you one way or the other. But I also say try it for 2 weeks. See how you feel. And most people who don't like keto, it's because people who cannot do keto usually cannot do keto because they're addicted to sauces. So if you're a person who is addicted to potatoes and rice and pasta, keto is hard. And that was me. I mean, I never ate a meal that did not have pasta or potatoes with it in the beginning. But now I recognize that those things are not good for me. And I said for me, I didn't say for you. They're not good for me. So I don't eat them. So that's why mine is the way it is. So I'm going to add my rest of my cauliflower into this dish because I don't want to waste any of my food. This is going to be my heavy fat meal. This is going to be the one that's going to be a heavy fat meal for me. Because anything with creams and stuff like that, that's a lot of fat. But one of the things I've learned is I cannot mix fat with sugar. So if I have a heavy fat meal, I don't have sugar with it. And I don't eat a lot of sugar anyway, but sometimes just something like peppers and stuff like that can have sugars. So I'm going to let this cook. And then I'm finishing up my chicken over here. And again, this is ground chicken. I put some cauliflower and some red peppers in it for some extra vegetables. And I put a bunch of Italian seasonings in it as well. And I'm going to put some pasta sauce. I love roasted garlic, it's my favorite. And I'm going to put 2 cups of pasta sauce in here. That's barely 1. I mean, it's almost 1. This is just a really delicious meal. And when I miss pasta, this is something that I make because it gives me all the flavors of a good Italian meal. So I'm going to put just a little bit more because my one was a little short. chicken chicken parmesan meal, and I'm gonna put a little bit of Parmesan cheese in here. And when I say a little bit, I'm going to do a half a cup, and that's for 4 servings. So I did a half a cup of that. And then I'm just gonna mix it all up. And I'm gonna turn the heat down and just let all the flavors melt together and have a nice little marriage in here. But this is a good dish for replacing a good pasta something, because you get all the flavors of a good Italian pasta meal without the pasta. So that is, that's one right there. And then I'm gonna come back over here with my chicken. Now this one right here again, this is gonna be my heavy fat meal. You know what? I didn't even realize somebody could tell me that this wasn't on the food anymore. I apologize. So let me get this back together. All right, there we go. I apologize that it wasn't on the food. So this is my chicken. I just threw in some cauliflower in this, and now I'm going to season this. Now this one is going to be, it's heavy garlic, garlic and spinach and creams and cheese. All that gooey, wonderful stuff is going to be in here. And one of the things that I have learned, you know, one of the things with being a person who goes to church a lot, we don't really have a lot of stuff to do that's quote unquote fun, because you know we're church people and we don't go out and we don't party like those other people. But then it limits what we can do to have fun and stuff like that. So most of the time, it's all about food we eat. And so I had to figure out a way that I can eat with people and not be gaining a whole bunch of weight. So, hey, Miss Scott. So this is what I do. So I have a bunch of friends now, and we're all eating healthy. And so we can actually have get-togethers. And we have get-togethers where we eat healthy together. And it is pretty cool. Okay, so I'm going to put a little onion powder, put a little salt. Don't put a lot because I'm going to put some cheese in this. And this is where the fat comes from. When I talk about this, is going to be a heavy fat. So I'm using half and half. Most people use, what's that stuff called? Heavy whipping cream. I use half and half. And so I'm going to do, let me see, a half cup of half and half. That's my half cup there. I am making today, I made ribeye steak already. I have a creamy chicken parmesan over here. I have the chicken fajitas already done, and now I'm making my cheesy spinach, garlic spinach. I'm using some Parmesan cheese, and this is a half cup. And I'm actually going to use 2 different cheeses on this. But I'm going to use the Parmesan first. And then I'm going to layer my spinach in. With spinach, it wilts down a lot. It wilts down a whole lot. So it's going to look like a lot of spinach, but after, oh crap, I'm messing up stuff. But after I get it down, it's not going to be near as much. That can be a dish for a family reunion. Yep, it could. So I'm going to mix in this spinach in here while this is cooking, and you'll see that the spinach just basically just becomes wilted. I will say that usually it's best to cook this with in a bigger pot, so you won't have spinach rolling over everywhere, flying over everywhere. Another thing with this, if you have it, and I may use it in a minute, it's good to put some chicken stock in here. That's really, really good because it allows you to thin out the spinach and get the spinach wilted really good with this. And again, this is a good dish for some good dish to get that vegetable in there. And it has garlic, so already that big pile of spinach is wilted in there. You can hardly tell that it was that much. So I'm going to add my next one. So my goal is to get all of this spinach in here. After, I'm just going to put it all. It's going to be a mess. It is. I use bone broth instead of chicken stock. It's a little bit better. And it adds another layer of flavor, but it will also help to thin this out and get this spinach cooked down a little bit more. So the way you do with spinach, as long as you put the hot stuff over it, the spinach will cook down. So I'm just going to turn it. It's kind of like when you're doing a cake and you're turning the flour over, you know, in there and stuff. That's what that is. So this looks like it's a lot of spinach, but when it cooks down, it is not a lot at all. So this is one of our favorite dishes. Sometimes we do it with broccoli, sometimes we do it with spinach. I like it with spinach better. I think the guys like it with broccoli better. So this, again, this has the half and half, Parmesan, garlic, chicken. And so this is wilting down here. I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit. I turn it down in the beginning because I have to get the spinach in there. But it's also a really pretty dish. That's the other thing. It's a pretty dish. Another thing you can do with this, oh, I wonder if I have some. Some roasted red tomatoes is so good in this. Let me see if I have some because it is so good with this and some roasted red tomatoes. And then it just looks good with that green and red. So let me see if I have some in here. I don't think so. Wait a minute, what's that? Yep, yes I do. I have some, really good. Let me get a fork. This is just some roasted red peppers. I said tomatoes, it's peppers. These are so good in this dish. It brings up a lot of flavor. I usually measure everything. I'm really not measuring today. Well, I didn't measure the peppers. I know how much the other stuff is. That gives it a lot of flavor. So all that spinach, that was like 10 ounces of spinach. Now it's just wilted on in here. So that extra chicken bone broth that I put in, it's just helping it thin out. And so all I'm really doing now is letting the spinach cook. Everything is done. It's just letting the spinach cook. And so I just want to keep moving everything around, making sure that everything has spinach and everything. And then I top this off with a little bit of mozzarella cheese and some Parmesan grated cheese. A little different, but it just adds the flavor in. So I'm going to just let that sit for a minute and let that cook. And then I'm going to put my other chicken Parmesan over here in its containers, in my containers. My tea. So this is my chicken Parmesan. That's ground chicken with Parmesan cheese, tomato sauce, some peppers and onions. Oh, and I put some cauliflower in it. So my scoop is a half a cup. So I'm going to start with a half a cup in each one. And then I'm going to go back and do probably a fourth cup. Let me see. What's that? That is a fourth cup. Yep. Then come back and do a fourth cup. It may have been 2 cups total, but I think it's going to be a total of 3/4 cup. Yep, I was right. So I just got some little odds and ends down here. But for me, it's really important to use measuring spoons and stuff when I'm dividing out my foods, because I want to make sure that I get the same amount in all of them. So that's done. So I'm going to take these 4, put them over here on the side, come back and look at this. This looks so good. I hope the camera can really get how good this looks. My spinach is all melted. My red peppers are in there. And then I'm going to add a little bit of mozzarella. Love me some mozzarella cheese. Clean up my space over here. The mozzarella. And what's this? This is a half a cup. So this is a half cup measuring cup that I'm using. That's all I need. And then this is grated Parmesan. And for the grated Parmesan, teaspoon, and 2 teaspoons is a serving. So since 2 teaspoons is a serving, I'm going to do 8 teaspoons. Well, it's a half one, so I got to do 16. I should have just got the other one because I'm gonna be all day. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let me make sure. Yeah, 8, 9. Tired already. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. Because that was a half a teaspoon and 2 teaspoons is a serving. So this dish is one of my absolute favorite meals. And the other reason why I like using the grated Parmesan at the end is because it also serves as a thickening agent. So that's the other reason why I use that. So I have been on live for 43 minutes. And in that 43 minutes, I have I'll basically finished 4 meals, 4 different recipes or 4 different things, and I've made 15 servings. So 15 minutes out of my day today will save me a lot of time during the week. So that's what the goal is. So this is basically finished, and I am going to scoop this into my containers. I'm trying to move the spinach around because sometimes when I do this, some of them have more spinach than others when I'm doing my little scooping. So I'm going to bring this over here. I'll scoop this direction today. I'll scoop over here so you guys can see me. And yeah, this is a half cup. And let me see. Half a cup. Half a cup. Half a cup. This is going to be basically a cup in each one. And then I'm going to take the liquid that's in here, and I'm going to pour that in each one as well. So again, this is one of the most delicious and flavorful dishes that I do. I ate it a lot at one point that I had to give it a break because I was eating it so much. And I do see some people talking to me, but give me 1 second to scoop all this in, and then I will respond. So everything goes off, and then I'm going to take the liquids that's left in here and just put those in each one, a little bit of each one. And this makes it so much better when I heat everything up. That extra liquid is absolutely amazing in there. So I finished all of the meals for today. The last thing I have to do is cut up the steak. So let me see what we got going on here. Let me see. Would you be so kind to make my low carb chips and queso while you're in there? No, sir. How do you reheat the meals? In the microwave. Did you say the grated Parmesan you use a half spoon and 2 teaspoons? No, it's a half tea. The serving size for the grated Parmesan is 2 teaspoons. But I was using a half one, so I did. So I was doing half teaspoons. That was 16 half teaspoons. Do you eat those meals just as you prepared and packed, or do you serve them over? No, I eat them just as they are. I don't change anything. So these are exactly how I'm going to be eating them this week. The only thing I may do is I may add some green beans to it because I just love green beans, and I may add some green beans, but that's about it. I'm going to move the camera, so hope nobody gets motion sick. I'm going to move the camera over here where I am, and hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing over here. So let me get the camera just right. So this is my steak. If you can see that. Let me see. So these are my steaks that I had right here. So those are the steaks. Let me move my hand. I'm back. Woo, that went the wrong way, didn't it? Hold on 1 second. Turn back around. There we go. All right. So these are my steaks right there. And then it went anyway. All right. So let me get this back down. And you guys can see what I'm getting ready to do with my steaks. With my steaks, I'm going to cut those in half and put them in containers. So, hey, Charity. So, Charity is a person who's been around a long time while I've been meal prepping. I used to meal prep when I was taking Zumba with Charity, and she used to always try to get me to bring her food to Zumba. But these are all of the meals that you guys have been seeing. These are all the ones I've made so far. And so then I have my steak right here. So with my steak, I'm going to put the tops on these to give me some room. I basically just seared them on both sides. And then I'm going to slice them up and put them in containers. So that's what's going on with the steak. But again, this is basically how I take my meals and how I eat my meals. And if I add anything to them, it's going to be maybe a side of green beans or something like that. But that's about it. So I'm just going to get these together. Oh, my top don't want to open. I'm struggling. I ain't trying to break no nail, though. So those are some of them. Then the ones I just finished are right here. And so, and it's crazy too because in these containers, it doesn't look like it's a lot of food, but when you put this on a plate, it will fill a plate. So sometimes we add more food than we need just because it doesn't look like it's a lot when it really is more than what we need. So all of these, and also all of these meals that I just prepared are under 400 calories, right about 350 calories. And all of them probably have less than 10 carbs per meal. And I mean way less than 10 carbs. Send me 7 or whatever you're making. Sir, I'm not gonna deal with you today. I am not dealing with you today. So my steaks are over here. And I need to get me a good knife. And I need to get my what's this thing? My scale. So I use the scale to make sure I'm dropping stuff. I'm so happy I had the tops on that, y'all. If I wouldn't have had the tops, I'd be mad. So I use my scale to make sure I'm eating enough. That's what the scale is for, to make sure I'm eating enough. So this is my steak. And I'm going to see how much this weighs. Right now. Alright, so this is saying that that's 10.48 ounces. So it's going to have 22 ounces. So my goal is to get about 5 ounces. That's so good. So good. It's to get about 5 ounces per container. So let's see if I can get that. So that piece is 4.9. I love it. I'm going to cut off another little bitty piece over here. Up 5.47. I'll take it. So that goes in a container. That piece right there is 4.97. I really could just put that in a container by itself, but I'm going to just go ahead and add a little piece. Oh, add too much on that one. Okay, 5.5, that works. That goes in my other container. And then this piece right here. And so if you see how I'm cutting this, that's like a medium. When I heat this in the microwave, it's going to be basically what I want. So that's a 6.14. This is a 5.15. So I'm going to put this in another container. And I really just have this left. This is just what's left over. So I'll figure out. I am going to go ahead and put it in a container. Oh man, it's so good. It is so good. Let me see. 4.8. Oh, there we go. So that was really 2 steaks from Walmart. And I got 4 meals out of. This is so good. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now this is so good. This is so good. Man. Okay. I'm happy it's good because I tried something different with it this week. And I marinated it for a way longer time than I usually marinate stuff. So I'm very happy that it's good. Well, I was nervous. Usually I do a dry marinade on my steaks. And this time I did a wet marinade for a very long time. It was almost 2 days. But I can taste all of those flavors. All the flavors I marinated with, I can taste them all. So that is absolutely amazing. This is going to be so good. What I'm going to do is those juices that ran off of that, I'm going to pour a little bit back into these. So when I heat it up, it has some little sting to it from the juice. And we don't waste nothing around here, okay? We waste absolutely nothing. So these are my actually 16 meals. I thought it was going to be 15, but that steak ended up being 4 meals. So that steak was, I think, 17 I had to look at the price of that steak to see how much I paid per meal. I think it was $17 that I paid for that, and I got 4 out of it. So a little over $4 a meal. So as you can see, I am done with meal prep. Here are all of my meals for the week. And I'm really excited about this week because I got some of my favorites in here. I try not to eat the same exact thing every week, so I switch things up, and these are some of my favorites. So let me now turn this around. So that's it. That's all I got. If anyone has any questions, let me know, and I will be happy to answer them. But I'm going to go in here and sit down because I was tired. I'm tired. So just as a recap, all right. Now I'm sitting. So just as a recap, we have made today. As a recap, we have made today ribeye steak. And what I did with the ribeye steak is I marinated in apple cider vinegar, balsamic vinegar, a steak marinade, as well as some garlic, rosemary. Yeah, garlic and rosemary. Yeah, those are what I did. And a little bit of lemon juice. So that was the marinade, and I just let them marinate in that for almost 48 hours. Absolutely wonderful. And then I seared it in 1 tablespoon of grapeseed oil. I'm looking in the kitchen like it's gonna tell me. I seared it in 1 tablespoon of grapeseed oil and a half pat of butter. So that was like the oil was 170 calories. You're so stupid. The oil was 170 calories. Hey Cheryl. And then it's just steak because all the marinades I use do not have really calories to them because they're vinegars. One may have some calories, and I'll check on that when I do the recipe. But it's an awesome way to get flavor in foods are by using herbs and vinegars and stuff like that and let it marinate, because then you don't have to add a bunch of other stuff to it. So I like doing that. So those were the ribeyes, and when I tell you they're so good, they're so good. It's probably going to be breakfast tomorrow. Oh, the other thing. So, okay, let me finish the menu. So that was the steaks. With my chicken parmesan, I used ground chicken. I added, I sauteed it with some peppers, some frozen, it's a package of frozen peppers and onion. I put those in there along with some cauliflower, and I sauteed it together. And then I put a lot of herbs, oregano, basil, a bunch of Italian seasonings. Then I put in a half a cup of Parmesan cheese and 2 cups of pasta sauce. And I call that my chicken Parmesan. It is so good. I like it. All of the other stuff added in, like the peppers, the cauliflower, stuff like that, those are just added just to give me some vegetables. That's the only reason why that's added. I've had it without it, but I use those as my vegetables. So instead of having a side, I just use those vegetables. So that was my other dish. Then the other one I made was chicken fajitas. And I made my fajita seasoning. Instead of using the packaged seasoning, I made fajita seasoning, and I just sauteed some chicken breast with some onions and peppers, and I put my fajita seasoning in there, and that was it. And with that, I'm going to use this stuff called Joseph's bread. I'll go over there in just a second and get the Joseph's bread and tell you what that is, with some sour cream and probably some salsa or something. So that was one meal, and then my cheesy goodness fatty meal is a chicken with spinach. It is chicken breast. I saute the chicken breast. I usually saute it with red onions, but I did not have any today. I may have had some. I just didn't even cut them up. I don't know. But I sauteed some chicken breast, and I may have put some cauliflower in. I don't even remember. Sometimes I do it without it. Sometimes I do it with it. But anyway, I sauteed chicken breast with whatever I put in there, and then I put some half and half. I think it was a half cup of half, a half a cup of Parmesan cheese, and a half a cup of mozzarella cheese. I did about a half a cup of chicken stock, and I put 10 ounces of spinach, of baby spinach in there.
and I let that cook down, and then I put about 4 tablespoons of grated Parmesan just as a thickening, and it is so very. Oh, and then I added the roasted red peppers. Oh, that's gonna be so good. And I add the roasted red peppers. So those are the things I prepared today, and I think I shared my grocery list. I'm not sure, but all of that came to right about $55 for the week, I believe. Yeah, I believe it was about $55 for everything. You know what? Let me be sure, because I don't want to lie to y'all. I got to go over here anyway to check on this Joseph's bread situation. So the Joseph's bread that I make, this is my pantry. This is the pantry. Well, I thought I had Joseph's bread. Maybe I didn't. Clarence, do you remember if Joseph's bread came? If bread was in here? Well, I had Joseph's bread, but I don't know where it is right now. So I will have to find that. But you can get it at, huh? Yes, yours are in here. But I use Joseph's bread. I don't know where it is right now, but it's really cool. The other thing I use, which if I can't find it, I'm gonna use these. These are wellness wraps, and it's for one wrap, I can get 2. Have you tried cherry tomatoes in that dish? A lot of people do use cherry tomatoes. I do not. For this one wrap is 50 calories, and it's 5 carbs, and it's 4 grams of protein, and I use one wrap for two fajitas. So this one wrap will be 2 fajitas. But so that's what that is. I don't know where my Joseph bread is, but this is my pantry back there. It is so junky. Look at that. It is so junky. And so we talk about like pantry stuff. People laugh at me because I don't have like bread. I don't have like meal and flour and stuff. Like these are all of my different marinades and seasonings. And then these are like use the canned goods and pasta stuff. Jaheim loves Alfredo stuff, so he has like Alfredo. This is usually my canned good stash. And then down here is usually the snacks. So our snacks are popcorn. That's all. And so that's the pantry. So if anybody wondered what's going on in the pantry, it is junky and I need to clean it out. So that's the pantry. So, oh, I was going to get my phone. That's why I came in here. Okay, I'm all over the place. All right. So, yeah, I do have a lot of people who use the cherry tomatoes in it. I'm just not a cherry tomato girl, so that's why I use the roasted red peppers. So I'm trying to see what my grocery list, the amount of my grocery list was when I did this, because I actually saved it. And let me see. Yeah, my grocery list was it was $57.30 for my grocery list, but that also includes my yogurt. I had yogurts on there. I had some plates on there. So I don't know how much my actual food was. When I post this, I'll look to see how much the actual food amount was, because I had other stuff on there that were not food. So basically, everything I cooked today was probably about, I would say on the high, $60. $60 is probably what I paid for everything. I'm trying to look at my grocery bill to see. So my pasta sauce was $2. My salsa was $2. I have some feta cheese that I forgot to use. It was $2. Let me see what else I got on here. My sour cream was $1.44. My chicken breast was $11.02. My steak was $17.95. So $18, and I got 4 meals out of that. So that's a little, what's that? $4 and some cents each. What else? My half and half was $1.18. My Joseph's bread was $2.56. Wherever it is, I got to find it. My spinach was $2.68. Then I got some yogurt for $5.38. My peppers were $1.98. My Parmesan cheese $2.56. The cauliflower was $2.48. The ground chicken was $3.47. So that's what that's everything that I made today. So if you want to know how much that costs and if it's expensive to eat this way, there you go. That was everything. So if anyone has questions, any more questions, let me know. Otherwise, I count this as a fun and easy meal prep day. It was very easy today with doing everything. So the easier it is, the better for me. But thank you guys for joining today. I appreciate you all. It was easy and fun. I'm still looking at my grocery list. Okay, it does have my Joseph bread on here. So it's somewhere in this house. Somewhere. And, oh man, no, I'm not going to do it. I was going to show y'all Clarence's brisket that he made. Y'all, that brisket looks so good. I don't know. I want to show you because then y'all going to be mad because I'm not sharing it. And you really will want this if y'all saw it. Like, it looks so good. But that was part of his meal prep. So anyway, I'm out of here. Thank you guys for joining me today. All my meals are complete and it was fun. I enjoyed it. Thank you for your questions. Let me make sure I answered all the questions. Cecily's talking about them ribeyes made you emotional. Girl, those ribeyes so good. No, Carlos, I'm not sending you anything. Yep, I answered that one. Teaspoons. I said I reheat my meals. And try with mushrooms and grape tomatoes. Lavelle, Clarence makes his with mushrooms. So Clarence is the one that does the mushrooms. He puts mushrooms in his. I don't eat mushrooms, so that's why I don't have them. Trying to make sure I didn't miss anything else. As I stated, this is a mixture of keto meal plan and primal meal plan. My focus is protein and no processed foods. So, but I do eat dairy, which does have some level of processing to it. But I do try to get out everything else with grains and stuff like that. Does cauliflower cooked like normal rice? It's a little different, but you can buy some other stuff. Where do I get my meal my meal ideas from? Some of it I just think of at the top of my head. I'm really serious. Sometimes I just make stuff up. And then sometimes I get stuff off of websites and then I just change them around to fit me. But a lot of times Clarence and I will just be in the kitchen like, okay, we got some chicken breast. We got some cheese, we got this, we got whatever, and we'll just throw it together and see how it tastes. If we like it, it just goes on our meal plan. And most of the time, stuff that we create, there are recipes for it out there. We just didn't know. So that was those questions. Okay, I got everything. So y'all have a wonderful rest of your Sunday. It was fun hanging out with you guys. I'm going to try to do this at least twice a month. And then sometimes we may just do it and answer some questions. But anyway, God bless. Love you all.